I was recently in the studio with Georgia Muscle, and when I tell you this man was cooking, he was cooking. The reason why I like collaborating with people is because sometimes they bring out the best of you when you don't know what is the best of you. And I think the one thing that I could take away from this, besides Georgia Muscle being one of the best keyboard players I've ever encountered in the state of Georgia, is that Yamaha Motif right in front of him. Now, don't get it twisted. I believe that Georgia Muscle could make any keyboard sound great, but there is something about late 90s, early 2000s pieces of gear that is missing in this modern time. I know I'm not alone in this. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of unks that follow this channel. Matter of fact, I do know that a lot of you guys are around my age or even older. However, I want to send a message to the younger heads out there of why this is. What is the Yamaha Motif, and what does it mean to us as music producers or content creators? Upon doing my research, boy, it was a nostalgia trip. When I tell you there are so many music producers that I love and respect that owned a Yamaha Motif, man, I can't tell you more. And J.R. Rodham being one of them, as I've produced a lot of music in the state of Florida, to even cats like Eric Sermon, which would sample on this joint. And man, I don't want to make any spoilers or anything, but holy crap. Two of my all-time favorites use the Yamaha Motif, which is Timbaland, the king. He's still the king, gang. I don't care what nobody say. And even the keyboard god himself, which is Scott Storch. It's safe to say that the Yamaha Motif series is a mainstay in hip-hop, R&B, and gospel. It didn't take me but a few cook-up videos to head to eBay and see if I can get one for the Lowski Woski. Hell, I even took a trip to reverb.com just to see if there was any decent prices on there too. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the prices go up after this video, because you already know how people do when they see someone talking about it and people agreeing that it is the shit. And like Fat Joe said,
yesterday's price is not today's price.
The original Yamaha Motif 6, which is the 61 key version, cost $2,250 on release. There was a Yamaha Motif 7, which was 76 keys, that cost $2,700, while the Motif 8, which had the most keys at 88 keys, and they were weighted action keys at that, cost $3,250. Now I'm speaking to the younger audience. When it comes down to older gear, back in the day, there was only a select few people that had it, and you knew if they owned one of these, then they were doing something with it, because bruh, you weren't gonna waste no money. And y'all were complaining about the MPC XL. Which begs the question, why did this thing cost so much in the first place? Let's start off talking about the Yamaha Motif that's on the screen, which is the one that was originally released in 2001. And it had its own workstation, basically. So you could record, sequence, and sound design on this same unit, and it had realistic sounds. Like, all the sound patches were A1, which is a far cry from some of the things that we hear in modern VST plugins, which don't give you that great general MIDI sense, which is necessary for live keyboardists, especially in the church or even in hip hop and R&B. It had 62 notes of polyphony. It had an integrated sampler, which is why you see music production goats like Eric Sermon using it to make sample-based production. Observe. Oh my goodness. And if you were to pair that with like an MPC or anything, bruh, it was up. It was up. And not only that, it had some hard drums as well. Observe. Bro, I'm fully convinced that Scott Storch is an alien. I think the beautiful part of owning a Yamaha Motif, or if not any piece of gear, is that it brings out unique traits in almost every single producer. For an example, Rodney Jerkins wouldn't produce the exact same way that Scott Storch would produce. Timbaland wouldn't produce the exact same way Dr. Dre, which I have not found any footage of him on the Yamaha Motif, and no shade there. They would do totally different things with it in totally different ways. Timbaland would connect his ASR-10 to the Yamaha Motif and then sample everything in and make that bop. Eric Sermon would sample into the Yamaha Motif, which we already talked about, but then again, he will make something totally original and make it sound like the most hip-hop shit ever. I don't care what anybody says. My goats are better than your goats, gang. Matter of fact, list a couple of your favorite goats that worked on the Yamaha Motif in the comment section. We might do a part 2. Of course, we have Scott Storch just being Scott Storch. It's something about seeing your favorites do their thing in the studio on a piece of equipment that you have admired for a while. And I have to throw in one of my favorite musicians, gospel or otherwise, which is gospel musician. Bruh can play the keys like a mug. Big shout out and many blessings to the homie gospel musician. Dude is a GOAT. You should check out his channel if you want to learn how to play the keys. Now, I say all that to say this. You still need to learn how to play the keys. You still need to understand basic song structure and different concepts and learn the workflow of the Yamaha Motif. Nothing is for certain. Nothing lasts forever. And I don't know why I'm quoting Outkast, but I just want you guys to understand, even if you buy one of these, it doesn't mean that you're going to sound like Scott Storch overnight. It definitely means that you need to have some type of hard work and dedication in order to get to that point. And I'm absolutely ready to make that commitment for real. To be fair to all the people that are around my age and remember the nostalgia of the early 2000s, late 90s music, bro, there were plenty of keyboards out there. There was very tough competition at that time. You had keyboard workstations such as the Roland Phantom X6, which had probably some of the best sounds that you will ever have on a workstation keyboard, that also sampled and had pads similar to the MPC. You had Korg out there with the Korg Triton or the Trinity series, which was a keyboard workstation that did the exact same thing. And bruh, when I have this clip in the background of Chad Hugo playing on not the Korg Triton, but the Korg Micro Korg, you get the point. They made a lot of hit records on this joint. So what it all boils down to is you. What do you prefer? What is your weapons of mass destruction when you want to make music? I just want to stress the importance of knowing where you come from, what you're looking for, and the driving point for almost every single musician out here who is always impressed by someone else's work that also inspires you to work as hard or harder. With that said, I'm about to continue my journey to find a Motif 6 at least and get to cooking. You feel me? I want to give a special shout out to Georgia Muscle, man. That is the homie right there. Let me know if you want to see us cook up or whatnot. I got a full cook up, and then also I have it linked in the description box because Georgia Muscle has posted his version on his YouTube channel. And bruh, when I tell you, you are a true motivation to me wanting a Motif 6 in the big 2026. I appreciate you for inviting me to your studio. Now, I definitely want to hear from you guys if you like this kind of content. I hope that you guys do, because I want to do more of this type of content. because I think it opens up everything when it comes to the history of our music that we enjoy on this channel, and many of the GOATs that we praise on a daily basis, and perhaps we'll get some content from them as well. I want to give a big shout out to Georgia Muscle, because he is my biggest inspiration for doing this video, as well as many of my favorite producers that I've been watching since I was in my teens. And my last question, bruh, why in the world does Yamaha not have an iOS version of the Motif? Do y'all like money? Do y'all like money? Because everybody would spend that money on that.